Wow, Hikaru digging through past glories there. He might have found the recipe for success because actually, just as we jump back in, Fabiano has made a mistake, and quite a significant one. We see on the camera Hikaru frowning. Good time to be alive in Norway. But meanwhile, okay, knight takes pawn on c5. It's on the board, Jovanka.
It is on the board.
And we're going to have a confessional from Nakamura, what he thinks about knight c5.
He got up with purpose there, Hikaru. It's like, yeah, he just kind of stretched out and he's like, okay, I've got this. It's so close now.
Welcome back, everybody. So, my game is taking a very interesting turn. Now, after I played this move rook to c1, the line that I looked at before the game was knight to b4, bishop b4, c4, knight c5, and after queen d5, d4, bishop g4, black is completely fine, maybe marginally worse in an endgame, but at any rate, it shouldn't be anything special. Fabiano, however, played f5, which was not a move that I had looked at before the game, and I don't know whether he's confused or I'm confused, because I know that if you play it in one of the other orders, like if you go instead of there's an order where I think after c5 you can play knight e4, bishop f8, bishop a3, and there I believe that f5 is very good for black with the rook on a1. But with rook c1 and knight c6 included, I don't think this is correct. So my suspicion is that Fabiano has potentially confused his lines, and I maybe am better. It's obviously very messy, very hard to judge because there's a lot of counterplay for black with the bishops, but you know, I was spending a lot of time looking at knight c5 or knight g3, wasn't sure which one was better, but then it's finally like, I feel like there's a reason f5 is not in my file. I mean, well, there are two reasons. First of all, if it's not in my file, that means my seconds are just bad, and frankly, if I lose the game because this move isn't in my file, it's the best move, well, I can just go blame my seconds for not putting the move in the file if it's super critical. So that's the first good piece of news. But I suspect that it's actually the opposite, and most likely it's just not the best move in the position. Now, again, the game is a long way to go. I mean, nothing is clear at all in this position, but I have a feeling that here I'm up 2 pawns right now, and if Fabiano doesn't have something very concrete immediately, I think I am just better. Now, I think a lot is also going to depend on the time usage here. If Fabiano moves quickly, that could be a bad sign for me, because it could mean that we transpose into one of the lines that's a little bit dubious for white. But again, I don't really think that's the case here, because if it was the case, this would have been in my file, and it just wasn't in my file. Unless, of course, I just completely confused the move order, but I'm almost certain I didn't do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I think we're going to get a fight, which is really all that I can ask for in the situation where I have to win if I want to win the tournament. So it's going to be exciting.